I have spent my whole adult life trying to recreate the magic my mother created for us every Christmas. She did not put up multiple trees throughout the house starting in October or hang garland from every surface, but what she did was more magical than anything I can imagine. Christmas morning was certainly full of wonder as my brother and I would get up way before dawn to see what Santa had brought, all thanks to my mother. And of course, my daddy had a part in that as well. We would hurry to open our gifts so we could go to my maternal grandparents' farm for a home-cooked breakfast of country ham and red-eye gravy, homemade biscuits, sawmill gravy, and plenty of farm-fresh eggs. What wonderful Christmases those were, filled with love and family and good food. We had Christmas dinner with Daddy's parents here on the property where we live now. My grandmother Isabel was an amazing hostess and a great cook, and she always let me help set the table. My grandparents had moved into this amazing Victorian house when my uncle was a baby, so I've always dreamed about what Christmas must have been like in that house. We have a few photos, and I always enjoy looking particularly at the decor to see which things I'm actually using now, including great-grandmother's beads and one of the ornaments hanging at the top left of the tree here. Obviously, I love a vintage style Christmas. I have so many memories that are attached to Christmases from my childhood. So follow along as I share some of the things I've done in my living room to try to recreate some of that magic that my mother and my grandmothers created for us. Every vintage Christmas must start with Color C7 Christmas lights, and thanks to a subscriber last year, I discovered Tru-Tone Bulbs. If you've seen any of my Christmas videos, you know the struggle I have had with the LED lights because of the banding when shooting video, and also that purple glow with the colored lights and the chartreuse glow with the clear lights. It drives me crazy. These Tru-Tone bulbs are the solution to all of those issues. I bought two 25 count boxes of the classic color C7s, and I already had light strings to use, so I didn't have to buy those. Y'all, I cannot tell you how wonderful these lights are. When I lit them up, it was literally like 1972 all over again, but in an LED that is energy efficient and doesn't get hot. You just cannot get better and more vintage than that. I could not wait to get them on the tree, and those of you who've seen the other videos and have been around for a while will remember I got this tree for a photo shoot in 2015 from Grandin Road, and I still love it. It looks like an old-fashioned tree with the open branches, and it is just perfect. It reminds me of my childhood. I got out my boxes of ornaments that have been collected from my mother, my grandmother, some I've bought, some my children have made, and these are just things that mean something to me, and most of them are pretty old. My great-grandmother's beads here that you saw actually hanging on the tree in one of the photos earlier in the video, these are just treasures to me, and I'm so glad that they are in my hands, and I hope that I pass them down to my children and they will enjoy and treasure them as much as I do. This year, my main inspiration was this one element that seems to be on all of the trees that I love so much, and it goes back hundreds of years, and that is tinsel garland. I bought some vintage garland about 10 years ago, and my mother gave me a box of Christmas decor out of their attic, which also had some garlands in different colors. So I got it all out, and I decided to use that instead of the greenery that I always forage from the property. There are just so many wonderful vintage photos with tinsel garlands hanging on mantles, on trees, over art, so it just ended up being the inspiration and the main element that I used in my living room. I had some gold that I wanted to use on this mantle, and even though it's really different from what I normally do, I fell in love with it, and I'm so glad that I took a chance on trying something different. While I was decorating, I set some of my bottle brush trees over on the mantle just to get them out of the way, and I thought, oh, they look so good there that I just decided to use a collection of bottle brush trees on each side of my 1920s Sessions clock. I bought some on eBay about 10 years ago, and I've collected a few over the past few years, but I hadn't really used them. I just love how they look on the mantle. It's just simple, but it's also glamorous, and it kind of ties the sparkly tinsel in with the green from the tree. And again, while it's something really different from what I normally do, I just love this look. Another staple of Christmas past that I saw over and over in photos was Christmas cards just hanging on doorways, Christmas cards hanging over windows, and I really wanted to hang some of my cards on the mantle. Several of these are from my maternal grandparents, and I'm so thankful my mother saved these so I can treasure them now. I made all the stockings years ago, and I like to hang one for each of my children here on the mantle. Some of you will remember that I made this mantle out of wood trim that was saved from my grandparents' Victorian house that I restored. It's also something that I treasure. I love to use my oil lamps, especially this time of year, and of course, they needed a good cleaning like everything in my house. They're wonderful when the power goes out, and they definitely create that ambiance of 100 years ago. Y'all know I like to change out pillows and throws for each season, and I like to have pillows on my couch if somebody wants to take a nap, or throws to cover up with because our house is normally a little bit chilly this time of year. I used pillows I already had, and I really wanted to bring in the pink color because there's just something so vintage Christmas about the pinks, and I wanted to make sure I included the pinks. I love to have my granddaddy's books on the wagon wheel table Daddy made for me, and also some books that my Aunt Jody gave me. My Aunt Jody, my mother's baby sister, passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I have a lot of things here that she gave me, and they have become even more special to me, and they are such sweet reminders of her. Mother bought the sugared fruit ornaments for me years ago, and I've always loved to use them in centerpieces and in bowls with pine cones and greenery at Christmas time. Another very special thing I wanted to use this year is this doll my grandfather had a sergeant pick up in Paris and send back to my mother during World War II. She was a baby when he left in 1943, so I treasure this doll, the letters he sent home, and mostly the amazing memories I have of this very special and amazing man. Now I'm going to share the entire room, and I really hope that I have captured the essence of vintage Christmas past. As much as I love decorating and the cultural aspects of Christmas, the most important part for me is the birth of the Savior. It's not about the gifts or the tree or the snow or anything but a baby born to save. I love the works of the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman, and I shared one of his poems last year, and I really wanted to share this one this year because this is perfect for the times that we live in. It's called The Work of Christmas. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among brothers, to make music in the heart. Howard Thurman. Merry Christmas, friends, and let us begin the work of Christmas.